Hi guys, it's Aaron from AFK Knives, and today we are building a leather sheath for this knife right here. Have fun. So this is everything I need to make a leather sheath. Of course the knife, a piece of paper to draw it down, something to measure it with. These are leather cutting tools or tools in general, a drill, a Dremel, of course some leather glue. And this is for the stitching of the leather sheath. This is actually waxed sinew, so not just an ordinary thread. It's sinew. Makes looking the sheath way more classic, a little bit like a western sheath. We got a scissor for cutting out the drawing. Of course the needle. Something to draw it with. That's the dangler I'm gonna use it for. And these are screw pins to screw the belt loop in part, for example, or also the top and the down end of the leather sheath, just to make it stronger. And of course the leather itself. Alright, the next thing to do is to draw down the sheath. For this we measure about 2 centimeters from the blade away and put a mark down. I'm basically doing it all the way down the blade. Then we roll the knife over. So that's the part where it gets folded over. Now we have here 6 centimeters. Our belt loop becomes about 3 centimeters wide. So I will take 1.5 centimeters here and 1.5 here. So our belt loop gonna ride exactly in the middle later. Our drawing is cut out, and we only have to transfer it on the leather. Make sure this what we see right here is the inside actually, because the sheath gonna fold up like that later. So you have to pay attention to not use this side to cut it out, because then the sheath will be reverse actually. So use this side. So it becomes a right-handed sheath. So for this task we're gonna use this fancy pizza cutter right here. No, just kidding, it's a half moon knife. I'm not sure what the exact name is in English, but it's specifically for leatherworks.
Diamond skies for some sign of meaning until you stole me. Now you're all I see. I'm in your blood.
We take the Dremel and basically grind this corner a little bit out. Now it's time for the Dremel. Very useful tool for that job, with that little grinding attachment here. Okay, grinding this part is always a little bit of a mess. Still thick enough. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it like it is now. So now rounding off the edges. That's gonna be done with this tool here. It's an edge cutter. Alright, now it also looks a lot better. Don't know if you can see it. this thin down part right here. It actually also gonna help to you know, when this part is very thick and it's gonna be bent back and hold in place right here, then it always gonna create a loop with a big gap in it, and it actually is kind of annoying on the belt because first of all it's loose and the knife gonna stick out a little bit. So with this thin down part right here, it's a lot better with bending it towards the sheath. This we glue the belt loop in position. Therefore we first use sandpaper to roughen up the spots where we glue it. Then we take our leather glue. There, has to be very much. Down. Of course, you have to watch out that it's parallel to the other sides of the sheath, so it's nice and straight. What I personally use are clamps. Clamp it down, so I don't have to hold it the whole time. And when we are back, we can drill the holes. Okay, now the glue cured for a few minutes, and I drilled the holes. Now we're gonna throw some pins in. These pins are screwable pins, so you can take them off. And I think they are great because they are a really secure way to fasten the belt loop. Then we are ready to cut out the liner. This is a customer knife, and also this is gonna be the sheath of the customer, and he wants a firesteel loop, and that I have to work into that sheath. Never done it before. Let's see how it turns out. So we're gonna cut out about 1 centimeter of our drawn sheath. That's gonna be our liner, which comes inside here. But we have to split it, and in the middle comes the firesteel loop. So I have to make so the firesteel can ride in here. Yeah, let's see. This product is gonna make it. And now we're gonna glue it on separately. So one times this, one times so. And in between here comes the firesteel loop. Alright. So now this has time to cure. And we have here a little bit our other leather sheath. Then we first of all glue this together, and then we actually have to sand it down right here because it's a double layer of leather, and it would be thicker on this part. So when we have glued it together, we have to sand down the outside, just so we create basically a slot where it rides in here and becomes flush with the other parts of the liner. I have to basically trim down these two parts here, these two leather layers, so it's in total thickness of just one layer of leather. So when I lay it to the liner, it's a fluent transition.
This world can be such a lonely place to hide in. That's all I see to you.
So now the part where it's in the sheath embedded is now ground down to about the thickness of one layer of leather, so it won't give us a hump. Alright, now we ground out this firesteel loop, which fits exactly into here. And yeah, basically what we have to do now is close the sheath, glue it together, and this slot gonna be still open. And when it's glued together and cured, we can grind it flush on the belt grinder, and after that insert the firesteel loop, glue this together, and after this glue is also cured, we can set our pins and sew the sheath together. Now we have to place it so that it won't fall over and be as straight as possible. Looks pretty good. Everything is tight. Really nice. Now I have to wait and let it cure for a good time. So basically what we're gonna do now is we take the belt grinder and sand off this edge right here. Alright, so what we achieved now is that everything is now very smooth and on the same height. Also, the lines are way straighter than before. We still can see the opening for the firesteel loop. And yeah, now what I don't have to do but I like to do is to take away this corner right here. So I'm gonna basically make a radius. I'll put this radius on here. I always try to make it look like it's one continuous radius with the belt loop. So yeah, it's just aesthetically pleasing to watch at or to look at. The next thing we want to do now is to cut off the edges, where you can see there's a lot of excessive leather from the grinding, so we don't want that, so we now trim off the edges. Now that the edge and the surface is really clean, we can use this tool right here, which is designed for draw or cut a line in the leather parallel to its edge, because it's always in contact on the side, on the edge of the leather. So yeah, therefore it needs to be very clean. Alright, now both of our screws are in place, and now we are ready to draw our stitching line. Now that's our second stitching line here. Now we need this funny wheel right here. It's basically to mark our stitchings where the holes should be drilled, so it always has the same amount of distance in between the stitchings. But what we first have to do is glue in our firesteel loop. Okay. Gonna put a lot of glue on there. Just stick it in, and yeah, basically remove the excess amount of glue. What we're gonna do now is drilling the holes for the stitching with my drill press.
Just not, baby, when it comes to you. I get so hungry when you say you love me. If you know what's good for you, I think you're hot, I think you're cool. You're the kind of guy I'd stalk in school, but now that I'm famous, you're up my anus. Now I'm gonna eat you, fool. I eat boys up, breakfast.
So now the drilling of the stitching holes is complete. Also on the back side. Okay, what we're gonna do now is sew the inner part together. Start from there.
Whenever you tell me I'm pretty, that's when the hunger really hits me. Your little heart goes pitter patter. I want your liver on a platter. Use your finger to stir my tea, and for dessert I'll suck your teeth. Be too sweet and you'll be a goner. I'll pull a Jeffrey Dahmer. I eat boys up, breakfast and lunch. Then when I'm thirsty, I drink their blood. Carnivore animal, I am a cannibal. I eat boys up, you better run.
And now it's almost done. We only have to make the dangler for it. So we already got this one here. But we need to make another leather loop. We only have to make this leather loop. We use some leather we have left over from the sheath for this. I already cut it in about the right length, and now I have to cut it in the right width, so about 3 centimeters. This side, mark it. Alright. Alright, we have a pretty straight strip. Alright, what we're gonna do now is we make the sheath waterproof. This is a mixture out of 50% beeswax and 50% neatwood oil, and heat it up. And now we're gonna put in the sheath. Okay, now we're just gonna let strip this off and dry it.